Victor is confronted by Chance about Ashland's body and Phyllis's plot to sabotage the situation. Diane is beginning to put the pieces together. The young and the restless heirs today, with Nick expresses concern over how far Chance may go, while Phyllis reassures Nikki and Kyle, and Summer warn their mothers. While watching Harrison play soccer in the park, Tracy comes into Jack cheering for him. He has mentioned his interest in coaching to his sister. He's been spending so much time with his grandson, she says, that he barely has time to get any work done. Jack says his staff can reach him at any time, but spending time with his grandson comes first. Diane is doing a fantastic job with him, according to Tracy. Jack admits that he's glad Diane is trying so hard to bond with her son and grandson. It's hard to tell how much she's changed, if at all, but she seems sensible now. Some people are open to change, while others are not. A date with Kyle and Summer at Society. During the conversation, she brings up the necessity to fill a post and suggests her mother for the job. He sees that as giving Phyllis a grenade to play with. As for how to encourage children to behave, she thinks putting their moms in a group together might be the key. In addition, a buyer has already been found for the property, and her mother possesses considerable artistic ability. It would be a great opportunity for her to join her mother in a career they both enjoy. This convinces him, but Kyle cautions that they must prevent her mother from being a burden. If there are ever any issues, she will be gone. They will warn her immediately and make sure she avoids Diane. In the same vein, Summer recommends he warn his mom. In other words, he offers a verbal agreement. When Diane brings her exercise gear into the Grand Phoenix, Phyllis applauds her in jest and makes a snide comment about how good it is that she is finally getting in shape. The subject of her abandonment of Kyle inevitably comes up. Diane brags about how wonderful her new life in Genoa City is. After receiving a message from Kyle, she decides to put off her workout. Phyllis, in her turn to boast, says she is feeling like the world is her oyster and that something big is going to happen. Daughter texts her, saying she wants to hang out. Toodles, she cheerfully tells Diane. Summer's mom is overjoyed to meet her in the lobby when she tells her about the job offer at Marchetti. When it comes to interacting with Diane, Summer says the one rule is to be nice to her. She despises bitchiness and instability. Phyllis assures Diane she won't do anything to upset her. Her offspring has assured me that she would be watched closely. Neither she nor Kyle have faith in her ability to stop the agitation. Phyllis finds out that Diane is also receiving this caution. Phyllis tries to reassure her child that they need not worry. Her skeptic daughter disagrees with her. The fiery one said she is excited for this next stage. Summer cautions her once more, urging her to act honestly. Taking her hand, Phyllis accepts her offer and swears not to disappoint her. The two embrace each other. After picking up her son at the airport, Diane travels to Society. When Kyle tells her that Phyllis is going to start at Marchetti, she gags on her water. This necessitates that they coordinate their efforts on occasion. She says, "You do realize that she's just trying to sabotage me." He simply wants everybody to get along, so he reassures her that they will be segregated. They are both being told to behave themselves and avoid any further conflict. His mother advises him to ask himself what Phyllis has to gain by handing up her hotel. Nothing can be trusted. To her mind, it's clear that Phyllis is acting aggressively and has her own agenda, and she hopes that he can see that. Her son claims that Phyllis will only be able to make things difficult for her if she gives in to her. Diane wonders whether this is some kind of test to determine how well she does under pressure. He assures her that she can get through this just fine and that he has faith in her. Living in harmony with her former opponent would demonstrate her growth as a person. Summer eventually follows her husband back to Society. They share stories of how their mothers dealt with their numerous requests. His mother is concerned and took it badly. Summer questions whether or not they are making the right decision, but he believes their moms need to be encouraged to work together. She admires his upbeat outlook. In Crimson Lights, Diane ignores Jack as she passes him by. She begins her rant about Phyllis as soon as he calls out to her. If only her son could understand that Phyllis is plotting against her. A preemptive strike, he says, will only end badly for her. She assures that won't occur under any circumstances. Chance pays a visit to Victoria at her Newman office. The two of them must communicate immediately. Nick has a tendency to defend himself. The police officer has said that they will review the incident as many times as necessary to determine the truth. They called him when they thought Locke was dead, he points out. Chance would like to get to the bottom of this mystery. New information has surfaced about Locke's car, and before he writes his report, he wants to make sure what they've said is accurate. The distance between Locke's car and her house is one he has walked. Someone with significant head trauma would have a difficult time making the walk in the strong wind. Chance says the security camera cuts out right when Ashland would have gotten into his car, so he doesn't think it's feasible. Video of the vehicle in motion shows what appears to be more than one occupant. Traces of severely obliterated footprints were also discovered. He is not making any accusations, and he is assuming that they are less knowledgeable than he is. The officer says he has reason to believe Locke's father had his remains exhumed for their safety. Nick agrees that it's a fantastic hypothesis, although Chance is less convinced. Before he meets their father and brands them as probable conspirators, he wanted to offer them a chance to come clean. He feels bad about what happened to Victoria and knows Ashland was bad, so he's willing to give them a second opportunity. They just can't seem to get along, so Chance leaves. Victoria and Nick have an argument when they are alone about their father. Nick is upset that Victor has put them in this predicament and is worried that Chance will not leave them alone. Since the detective is married to Abby, Victoria doesn't think he'll do much about the situation because she believes Nick manipulated their father. Nick, who is still skeptical, insists that this will have severe legal ramifications for them all. At the ranch, Nikki comments on how triumphant Victor feels about Ashland's murder, but Victor tells her she must be imagining things. It was not my doing that Ashland Locke died. I'm delighted he's gone, he says. She explains that after combining with Locke's firm, Newman Enterprises is more powerful than ever. After trying to scam Victor out of money, Victor believes Locke is exactly where he belongs, on a chilly slab awaiting a pauper's funeral. The thought of dancing on his grave is too much for her at the moment. Victor has faith that she can be won over. From the time he met Locke, he knew they were in for a costly game. Now, the family is back together, almost. Nikki probes triumphant Y&R soon. She figures out he's referring to Adam. The fact that his son is absent upsets him deeply. She advises him to abandon his hope of reuniting his family. He learns that Chance has arrived through phone call. Assuming that she is talking about Locke, Victor reassures her that she has nothing to be concerned about. This will all be over shortly, he says as she walks away. Victor and Chance cross paths. Directly, he informs him that he is confident that he knows more than he is letting on, and that now is the moment to be honest with him. When Nikki checks into the Grand Phoenix, Phyllis informs her that she has been offered a position at Marchetti. However, it will be difficult for her to make any moves without Summer and Kyle noticing. Nikki is worried that she is having second thoughts about working with them. While Diane works in the trenches, devoted Phyllis will rise to the executive ranks. Nikki assumes it will trigger Diane's explosive temper without the redhead having to do anything. Phyllis will put up 10 fingers and say, "We're going to get this bitch out of town."